everyone, we're pleased to welcome you to our new SAP Tech Talk. Some important notes about how the event is going to be organized. The webinar will be recorded and then posted on our YouTube channel. Don't hesitate to ask all your questions in the Q&A field. At the end of the webinar, our speaker will answer all of them. Our today's speaker is Anton Kuzniatsou, and the topic of his webinar is Unlocking the Power of Data Fabric and Data Mesh with SAP Data Intelligence. Anton, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hi all. Welcome to our SAP Tech Talks, and let me maybe start with sharing my presentation. Okay, now hope you are able to see it, and I want to start as usual with a brief introduction of myself. So I am a solution architect from EPAM, working with SAP products more than 16 years. And my sphere of interest lies in data warehousing, analytics, business intelligence, a little bit planning and consolidation, and so on. I'm acted as a solution architect, project manager, and team lead and consultant during product implementation. And let me then describe what is the main goals of our today's talk, actually. So first of all, I want to give you high-level overview and general description of two popular architecture approaches or concepts called data fabric and data mesh from data and analytics. And we will get familiar with SAP products for building data fabric and data mesh, which is actually SAP Data Intelligence and SAP Data Sphere. I will share also my experience in some real-time project, real-life project, and I hope this presentation will be useful not only for SAP architects, developers, and different sales and process specialists, but also for everybody who is gonna know something regarding SAP and SAP products for data and analytics. Let me share a quick agenda for today. So we will go, as I said, first with some general description of SAP of data fabric and data mesh. Later, we will see how SAP Data Intelligence can be used as a platform for building data fabric. I will share example of usage in a real-life project. We'll share most important notes and challenges we faced from my perspective of view. We'll see the future platform proposals from SAP, and in the end, we will have Q&A sessions. Okay, let's start with SAP, not SAP, but data mesh and data fabric. First of all, a little history here. So data fabric was first introduced by Forrester company and later propagated by Gartner. In simple words, data fabric is data and analytics solution or architecture approach, which allows you to connect and manage all data from your different systems in one place, and also providing this data to consumers such as people and other systems. On the right, you may see the main pillars or parts, what was initially described by Gartner, which any data fabric should include. On the bottom, let me switch my pointer. On the bottom, you may see first key part of this data fabric is data sources or connections to different systems. On the top, you may see data consumers who actually consume our data product. In the middle, there are main parts such as data catalog, we will talk a little about data catalog later. Some in the yellow, you may see two main parts on top of your source data, which is actually metadata and knowledge graph. And also Data Fabric includes tools for integrations, data flow, and data orchestrations. In the just to be able to run different pipelines or data flows, not only from this Data Fabric, but from external systems also. And now let's see how these general concepts will used in SAP world. So first of all, SAP, as mentioned in some series of blogs regarding architecture in SAP Data and Analytics, includes also data catalog first, which is actually helps to manage and understand all the data, connect and give the user ability to understand which data products you have. And data catalog itself includes knowledge graphs, which actually connects different data assets, describe which data do you have in a company, which can be used. And it's also data catalog includes metadata, both passive, like which reports do you have, which models, which structure, which fields, and active metadata. This is information of how your data is used by end users and system actually. Not to forget, important element here is machine learning and artificial intelligence. So usually Data Fabric also includes some capabilities to build machine learning algorithms to automate the execution of machine learning pipelines and to provide, derive some business information from your technical raw data. And the last but not the least is data integration, actually. The main part regarding how you can load, extract, and provide the data using different pipelines, orchestration mechanism, how to connect, integrate, and move all your data flows inside Data Fabric. And we're now switching to data mesh. So, as you may see, Data Fabric is like centralized approach. You have one platform for all the data, for all the flows in one place. Data mesh is a little different. So this concept was initially introduced by Jamak Dekhani, and she provides one good example of what is actually data mesh in a practice. Imagine we have some media platform where artists or singers record their podcasts and provide them to the end users who can subscribe, listen, and so on. First of all, usually in this system, you may see different teams or different domains, and this is the first pillar of data mesh. This is domain-oriented architecture. So every team providing some operational capabilities mentioned as O here, like onboarding artists, pay artists, for example, register new user, and so on. And usually that's all. But here you may also see data products. So data mesh concept is that your domain teams also owning not operational, but analytical capabilities. They provide, for example, some data products for artist history, for user profiles changing monthly, and so on. And this is the second main pillar here. So data acting as a product. You're not only building some pipeline or report on top of all this data in central warehouse or data fabric. every team should provide data as a product with good description, some service layer agreement, and so on. Next part is that data mesh is actually self-service, should be acted as a self-service. So every team or every user who have authorization to request the data can analyze and get data products independently. So they have usually some platform where you have a description of all products, actually data catalog, and they just can consume the data and even build new data sets from that. And they have always the information of like how frequently data is updated, which is the quality of data, who is the product owner for this data, and so on. And last point here is federation. So on top of that, of all that domains and data products, you may have some general governance, set of rules, how you should build your data products, some security rules, policies, and so on. And this was the practical example. And here, combining all these data mesh concepts at one place. So we have domain data owned by some cross-functional team who includes not only developers of operational activity, but also data product owner and data engineers. They're using some internal pipelines. They can be built both on central platform, but they may also use their own storages and ETL tools and so on. Usually, all data mesh domains using some platform as a data infrastructure. In SAP case, for example, SAP Data Intelligence, and central team of engineers providing general capabilities like security, governance, and so on. And as we can saw on the previous slide, also these domains can be used to create new data products, to combine them, to aggregate, to do some calculations and provide this data, publish them as a new data product. And on top of that, as we mentioned, there is some standards and global governance established in a system. So this is the general description of data mesh concepts. But not every, but many vendors also trying to build their own concepts in data and analytics. And for example, to share one example, EPAM also have own blueprint to build data factory. Actually, it's called EPAM Data Factory Blueprint. And to mention here, it includes not only technical or data platform component, but it also includes non-technological description of people and processes. Which team do you need to build data and analytics? Which building blocks it should include, and how to establish a processes to build actually your good data and analytics data factory product. Okay, this was general description, and coming now to SAP world. SAP products for data factory and data mesh includes several blocks. First of all, data storage and delivery. I'd like to mention here SAP DataSphere, formerly known as Data Warehouse Cloud Solution. It includes not only storage capabilities, but much more, like, for example, federation, business content with already provided models from SAP, and managing and owning spaces. And recently, it was added some new capabilities like data catalog and marketplace, for example. And SAP HANA Cloud, a well-known solution for building relational database in cloud, but also it includes possibility of virtualization and building data lakes. On the left, you may see SAP Data Intelligence Cloud, which we'll look deeper later. It includes orchestration capabilities, machine learning, building pipelines, and data catalog. But here you may see not only SAP solutions, but some other systems, for example, hyperscalers for machine learning, some cloud storages like data lake houses or any lakes. And for example, it could be on-premise legacy systems like SAP S4HANA or SAP old systems, or for example, data warehouses as SAP BW. And on the top, you may see the consumption layer. So I'd like to mention here also the main consumption tool, SAP SAP Analytics Clouds for dashboards and analytical applications. But here you may see also, for example, Jupyter Notebooks, popular tool for building machine learning models and pipelines. And data also may be consumed by third-party tools like Power BI or Tableau, for example. And let's see now the SAP Data Intelligence in details. So what I'd like to mention, first of all, it cloud-based solution as a service in SAP Business Technology Platform, but it possibly also can be installed on-premise. It have Kubernetes under the hood, so it easily can be scaled in the cloud or in on-premise. It includes possibility to work with different types of connection for streaming, loading structured and unstructured data. It also includes data science and machine learning capabilities, and on top of that, you may see that it could provide data for different intelligence applications, planning, and analytics. I'd like also to mention that it includes web-based interface for modeling. So all the modeling could be done just in your browser, at least most of the modeling of pipelines. But it also includes some client tools for managing and some automated processing, like, for example, publish pipeline or do some administration work with SAP Data Intelligence tenant. And for developers, it includes Git integrated, so it may be used for version control and teamwork. General capabilities at one place, as I mentioned, machine learning, exploration of data. This is the part which allows you to automatically build data catalogs, including information from your source system of your data, and update this on regular basis. Here you may see a lot of possible data integration and streaming. It includes working with SAP Business Warehouse, ABAP, cloud data integration, native support of SAP HANA and Analytics Cloud. It includes also tool for data governance. So you may do data discovery, checking data from different systems in one place. So for example, you can enter data catalog and just explore available tables, or in case of S4HANA CDS views, for example, in your system without any additional tools like SAP GUI or something. And also a tool for orchestration. So DI is Data Intelligence, can work with cloud storages, REST APIs from different source and target systems. And also there is a possibility to build custom connectors. Okay, one capability I'd like to go a little bit deeper is data catalog. As we saw, this is the important part of data fabric. And here you may see interface of data catalog. So it allows you to browse connections to different systems to do the profiling. What is profiling? You just in automate way extract all the information from source system of your data types, lengths, available tables, and so on. And this could be updated on like regular basis. You can browse and analyze all your data assets here, actually. And you may also build a so-called business glossary, one glossary of all terms, all your reports, and you may add the important information about your data, not only technical one. So this may serve as a one enter point for all data analysts and etc. Okay, this was description of data intelligence capabilities, and I'm coming to maybe most interesting part here. Example of usage in the real life project. I want to start not from technical perspective, but from delivery perspective. During the project, we used so-called Lean Architecture Toolkit provided by SAP. What is it? This is a simplified toolkit with prepared presentation, documents, templates, and in general allows you to use the approach for building the minimum required architecture for your project. It includes several steps. Some of them may be optional, and usually it's starting aligning your project and your goals of your project to corporate strategy of a company or customer. Next, you need to identify the scope of your architecture or your entire work during this project clearly and in a simple way. Next, coming to building the solution. This toolkit proposed to build so-called solution context diagram. It usually describes how your system interacts with different other systems and users. Next, solution concept diagram. General concepts of your solution, which important blocks and capabilities it should include, and later solution realization diagram with deep technical details of every block. Next, this may be optional software distribution diagram. This is diagram of how you want and where you want to deploy your solution. Is it cloud-based, some disaster recovery approaches, and so on, etc. And in the end, you may also want to build architectural map. So every project may propose something for the future. So which vision do you have for future here, how your solution could be potentially used and further developed? And according to this Lean Architecture Toolkit, we first build context diagram for our project. We need to build SAP Data Fabric in the cloud to be used for extraction and providing business objects and business information from source to target system in near real time. This should also include possibility both to ingest the data in a platform and just move them without any storage. Data could potentially be transformed and enriched, and they should be published to cloud non-SAP software as a service systems. So on the left, we had a source on-premise system, 3 on-premise, 1 non. On-premise, this was actually SAP S4HANA and SAP R3 legacy systems. And target, we had also 2 target systems. This was, as I mentioned, software as a service systems which provides some APIs for interaction. And actually, we built custom pipelines to interact with these APIs and to publish the data to target systems. On top, for future, as architecture roadmap, for example, we propose also usage of machine learning, data catalog, and modeling and reporting capabilities, but this was not included in scope of project. High-level architecture of our solution. It includes some services on SAP BTP, Business Technology Platform in the cloud, which provides some general capabilities like administration, connectivity, security, and so on. And also, we use SAP HANA Cloud as a storage for ingestion area and for possible permanent storage of data. Data intelligence was used as a main element for building pipelines for moving the data. As I mentioned, on-premise systems was connected through SAP Cloud Connector. Potentially, next integration with no SAP systems was planned as a file-based through SFTP, and two target system as data consumers here. What I'd like to mention here, you may see these squares with system numbers. This is important part, I think, to have a clear understanding and one catalog of all systems which you are using during product's implementation. It may seem obvious, but very often I see that every meeting starting with, for example, this long discussion of what systems we are talking about, how we should interact. And it's good always to have such a simple diagram with all numbers and separate system catalog. So every number reference to source system page where all information keep like system address, possible ways of interaction, important nodes how to get access, and so on. This is important part. And going a little bit deeper inside DI, so we include several type of storages and types of pipelines. First of all, we need to do an ingestion. Ingestion is just saving data from source system in raw format without any changing. Next, on top of raw data, we built another transformation and enhancement pipelines, which could potentially combine data from different source systems, from different source objects. If needed, they can be kept in transformed area as a temporal storage or on permanent way. And next, the last pipeline and storage was in format of target system to easily publish and track the status of publishing the data. As you may see, we use the same numbers from system catalog. So this numbering is used in almost every diagram or presentation, and everybody just familiar, and after some time anyone from project could easily say what is the system, and if need to check all required information from system catalog. And here just one example. I cannot share all the pipelines, but this is the simplest one, but it includes all the main possible, all the main so-called operators or building blocks of usual pipeline here. First of all, it includes some standard operators like reading data from SAP, for example. This allows you to read SAP function models, tables, and CDS views. You may see also custom operators here. For example, this one is Python scripts, actually, which allows you to code any transformation or publishing logic. And you may see that we are dealing with different storages. Here, for example, we produce data to SAP HANA Cloud, but we can also save data, for example, in SAP S3 bucket or other storages. And this can be easily done in one pipeline. This is actually all the technical details, and now coming to some challenges and important notes from my side. First of all, I'd like to point out that in data and analytics project, usually most of the issues or challenges is non-technological. So you expect some complex transformation, complex source data in target, but first of all, you may have a big problem and delay, not big, but just a problem and delays in project timelines because of getting accesses and rights for all the developers and business analytics. Because usually while developing, for example, some Fiori application in S4HANA, you just receiving access to your S4HANA system and you start developing. For building data and analytics products, as you may see, we have, for example, 15 different systems involved. And actually, we need to get access to all of them to be able to check and analyze all the flow. This can be time consuming and complex because of it's hard to find even for sometimes owners and stakeholders for particular system. This is not only technologically systems. Each system has its owner, its developer team, with own timelines and development cycle. So this is a challenge again. And talking regarding cloud, you have some lack of technological control of your platform, because if you have, for example, on-premise solution, you always may do a debug, analysis, go deeper in database. Cloud-based solution, very scalable, when can be easily activated when one or two clicks. So we activated our tenants for SAP HANA Cloud in 1 hour, for example, or something like that. But you cannot really go and see very deeply the administration, for example, of Kubernetes cluster under DI. So you need separate teams, separate administrators for that. From technological perspective, as I mentioned, cloud administration can be tricky, especially after you used to work with on-premise. And not only getting access for users, but also building connection with other technical users, for example, or SSO between system can be tricky, because you need to find the team who is owning this connection, get authorization for technical users, which includes talking with every source system owners and target system. Also, from development perspective, it could be tricky to debug something. Yes, you can upload code from cloud pipelines to your own, for example, Python development tool, and do a debugging there, but you need to provide some data examples. And again, this test is only partially cover your real life situation, because you cannot see all the data coming as you, for example, can debug in ABAP or something like that. You need to build additional login to be able to track every step of your pipeline, additional storages of intermediate information on each stage, and etc. And local development is possible, for example, for Python scripts, as I mentioned. You can easily download them or clone just Git repository and try to do a local development. There is a custom solution in SAP blocks how to do that, but this is not so easy and one click. Okay, coming now to future. Later, sometimes ago, SAP introduced rebranding of SAP Data Warehouse Cloud. Now it's called SAP DataSphere. I think many of you heard about this name. So SAP DataSphere is a future for data fabric solutions in SAP BTP. It includes general capabilities like security and access control, for example. It includes self-service data access and virtual access to data without loading into some cloud. You can do also data discovery of your data, same as SAP Data Intelligence. It may act as an orchestrator also, but I'd like to point out that not all capabilities of DI, for example, are already available in DataSphere. As I know, you cannot use, for example, some Python script as simple as it can be done in Data Intelligence, but this is still in development, and as I know, main SAP approach is to provide all the capability of DI also in DataSphere. It includes possibility to persist the data, to process the data, build some data governance, like, for example, data catalog, and important to mention, for example, lineage capabilities to track how your data moves from source system to target data product. As DI, it could be used for data ingestion in raw format, both in a persistent way and in virtual or federated way without actually moving data from your source system. It also allows a lot of connectors and on-premises and cloud-based system, especially from SAP, but also it supports different databases and unstructured files, for example. And data consumers, you may use it as a source of analytics, also planning, for example. It works with natively with SAP Analytics Cloud, allowing you to build planning solutions where DataSphere act as a storage of planning data, for example. And next important part, SAP introduced also collaboration with different vendors. For example, here you may see Calibra. This is a well-known solution for data cataloging. Confluent again, and SAP introduced both directional integration with Calibra. Confluent is a well-known solution for streaming based on Kafka. Databricks is a data lakehouse platform, which again can consume data from DataSphere, and DataSphere can consume data from Databricks. DataRobot is a platform to build machine learning intelligence, and last but not the least is Google Cloud. So not all things works well known, I would say so, but for some of vendors it was introduced that SAP plans to work with them, but I don't know some technical examples of that, for example, for a moment. Hope this will be further developed, and more features and more vendors integration will come here. And so all mentioned materials and references I would combine at one place. So here you may see some, from my perspective, important and useful information, or, for example, materials, some books regarding DI, data mesh approach, the series of SAP blogs of how to build data fabric, data warehouse, data mesh using SAP products, and also some open SAP courses starting from delivery approach or lean architecture toolkit, and ending of some courses with introduction to SAP DataSphere. It can be easily passed completely free, so you may use it. And so key takeaways. I hope now you can answer a question: what is data mesh and data fabric? This is not only a buzzword, it's real architecture concepts in data analytics. I think you also now know the main capabilities of DI and DataSphere, and you know where to go further. If you need any information, you can try use my reference materials, or for example, contact me if you have any questions here. And now I think we come into Q&A session. So that's all from my side.
Thanks a lot for insightful session. So let's get down to the Q&A part. We have several questions. So the first question is, does it mean that SAP Data Fabric and SAP Data Mesh are some kind of marketing umbrellas to group all old and new SAP data and analytics solutions to confirm that SAP follows modern data and analytics trends?
Okay, thanks for the question. Actually, Data Fabric and Data Mesh, this is not SAP methodology. SAP just follows the general methodologies for data and analytics from Gartner and Forrester. And yes, in some way, this is just general name for solution which can be built with different SAP tools. So DI is only, for example, one option here. You may also use only parts of SAP products. You may even build entire Data Fabric or Data Mesh solution with some non-SAP products, and for example, use only SAP HANA as a storage. Just example of that. And the data mesh, in general, it's not technological. Mostly, it's not technological. It's mostly organizational term. How you should organize your team and your work with data products.
Thank you. The next question, what are the key challenges of building a data fabric?
Yeah, to recap, the main challenges are not technological. I would say it may seem strange and weird, but as I mentioned, getting all the required access information and key stakeholders, this may be the main challenge of your product, actually, for building data fabric. If you have 20 systems and 20 teams working in a huge enterprise, after you know all the stakeholders, you have all rights, all authorization, the latest part may be simple.
Yeah, thank you. So while you are generating your new questions, we encourage you to join our community on other social networks like Facebook, Telegram, LinkedIn, and of course, we're a community platform via the links in the chat. So we have one more question. Let me check.
Okay, I see. What is the place of
Yeah,
BW for
what is
HANA?
yeah, exactly. What is the place of BW for HANA in SAP strategy regarding data solutions?
As I know, SAP BW for HANA stays the main data warehouse solution for on-premise. Actually, it could be placed even in cloud. It's not as a software as a service or some service like data warehouse cloud, but actually your underlying service of BW could be placed in any, I don't know, Amazon or Azure. It would be the same like it was placed in on-premise for users, for end users. This is first part of my answer. And second, I'd like to mention that I hear about replacement and sunset of BW maybe already for 10 years, and I hope it will be work in future also.
Okay, thank you. So I see that that's it for today with the Q&A part. Anton, once again, thank you very much for the session. So I'd like to remind everyone that we will send you the link to the recording a bit later. And colleagues, thanks a lot for your participation and have a nice day.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good weekend.